I'm resuming. Now we're recording, and you guys are going to miss some of these meetings, but they're super valuable for the process. And we do record them. I put the link to the recording and a summary of the meeting discussion on a message to everybody after the meeting, like the day after the meeting. So you'll have that as a reference in case you ever do miss the meeting. So just let me start by way of introduction. You guys know that Tracy and I are running the program, and hopefully you've met Erin Hurst, who is the curator of the content. And she puts those videos together that you guys hopefully saw this weekend already. Do you have any questions on what you've seen so far? Nothing pops in. Okay, so anyway, Erin, she makes herself very much available to us on a daily basis. We also have Zoom calls every other week, and I'll always have her as a reference. If you guys have any questions, you want a deeper dive on anything, I can get a hold of her pretty quickly. So she is definitely an ally for us. What you guys now have that the other two BOD squads didn't have this year is a group of allies in the Ascend program that are going to be extremely valuable for you if you ever want to talk to anybody about what's going on or get a different perspective or hear some experiences. You've got these people to turn to, and I'm talking about Kevin, Jeff Howell, Walter, and Luis and Mary Saul. So those people, like I said, will be a really, really good asset for you guys going forward. So you've probably noticed already there's quite a bit of work to do on this program. Every day you'll have lessons to do, you'll have some commentary, you'll have some quick action items. And the best way to stay on top of those things is to do just that, stay on top of them. So if you can devote yourself to just being current with all that stuff, then it won't get ahead of you. The lessons are almost all just 1 page or less, and you've seen some of them already, but you had to watch a video or two, and those were a little bit longer. There are some videos that come up in the program that are 10 or 12 or 14 minutes long. There's one at the very end that's 40 minutes long, and it is excellent. So I would encourage you guys to, when you see these videos, do try to watch them because they play a really important role in getting this program going and getting into the sort of the mindset stuff. That's a huge part of the program. Has anybody done any meal prepping yet? Any stories there? Okay. Are you guys?
We're gonna do our groceries in the morning. We have a lot of like this.
Not yet. We haven't done it yet.
We have the stuff for
Okay.
breakfast.
So we have stuff for breakfast. We're ready for that part of the day.
Okay, cool. Cool. Do you guys have containers and a labeling system kind of set up in your mind at least? Elizabeth, you've probably done this kind of stuff before, so you're ready to roll? Yeah. Okay, super. And I'll check with Ariane to make sure she's good to go as well. There's going to be obviously the weekly Zoom call. That's where we share best practices, ideas, problems, victories, and then start developing the mutual support that's really valuable for this. There's also a check-in with me once a week, and that's a live check-in at the gym. And I'll be asking you guys how things are going. You can be coming to me proactively as well with questions or observations or a call for help. You'll get every Monday you'll get a sort of a text message from me saying, how are things going? How do you rate your week? And that'll give you a chance to open up a dialogue as well. And sometimes that dialogue goes back and forth quite a bit, so you can take advantage of that as much as you want to. So anyway, staying on top of the lessons, taking advantage of the Ascend group, taking advantage of me being there at the gym, and then attending the Zoom calls. Those are recipes for success that I've seen in the last two BOD squads, the one in the spring and the one in the fall. The people that stayed on top of that stuff and stayed on top of their points checklist and stayed current with the reading materials and the video materials and utilized the live dialogue. They had by far, I mean, without a doubt, without any question at all, they had excellent results in this program. So it's not just about what you're doing in the kitchen and what you're doing at the grocery store and what you're throwing away out of your pantry. All of that's important for sure. But the other stuff is extremely important as well. And the people that, like I said, that stayed on top of it really did have a mindset shift that became permanent for them. And when I say permanent, I mean the people that started this whole program in May timeframe, they are completely, the ones that were the most successful are completely on it 100% to this day. And they're still on a path that's it's a glide path to reach their goals. It's a pretty slow, methodically, deliberately slow, but steady progression towards those goals. So if they wanted to, lose a certain amount of weight and decrease a certain amount of body fat or increase a certain amount of muscle, they are on those paths right now. And that's because, again, there are mindset shifts that go on in this program that make it really successful. So anyway, I'm super excited to be running this thing again, and I'm really looking forward to working with you guys and with Ariana as well. It's a smaller group than before. Last class I think was 13 or 14 people, and the very first class was 22 people. And this also, I think there's a lot of value in that. By the way, we can definitely hone in on stuff more and focus on, we can all have more time to discuss things since it's a smaller group. But also this is the first, obviously this is the first Bod Squad that carries us through Thanksgiving and right up into the week of Christmas. And that's going to be certainly a challenge and an opportunity to play along and make some choices and do some things that stay with the program. But also, there will be more temptations for y'all than there were for anybody else, for sure. So we'll talk about that. There's a strategy around Thanksgiving that we'll visit. It's not a strategy of massive denial. It's just a strategy of being strategic with what you do and how you do it. We will not ask you to eliminate any family traditions, but just to work around them a little bit. So anyway, this Zoom call that we're having now is a one-time event. It's obviously Sunday, 6 p.m. We're gonna have our regular Zoom calls on Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. And again, if you cannot make that time, then you can watch the video afterwards and stay on top of the subject matter. Do you guys see a problem with Thursday, 7:30 p.m.?
There's football.
Yes.
That's one thing.
Well, the Chiefs don't play every Thursday. I know that.
True.
No, they don't.
I know that. Yeah, that's an issue that I didn't think about when we started
It's
that
all right. It
in the
works.
spring.
It
But,
works fine.
We can make it work.
Yeah, it works
Okay.
fine.
So yeah, it was a popular time where we got the most response from everybody in the last two groups. And if we decide as a group that there's a better time for the four of y'all, then we'll just jump on that. That's not a problem. The first Bod Squad had a Sunday night. There's Sunday night football now, so 3 nights out of the week are covered on football. And if you watch Friday night high school football, then that's 4. So it's kind of hard to work around that this time of year. But anyway, like I said, you can watch the video. You just can't participate. You can't ask questions. You can't offer your observations, which is really important. So do try to make the meetings when you can, and then just catch up afterwards if you can't. What we'll do in the meetings is we'll start the meetings by opening up the chat line. The chat line is open right now. We're not going to use it today too much unless you guys want to, but we're gonna open with a question, and that is to rate your previous week or the week that you're in. Since we're doing it Thursday night, you'll be rating basically the week that you're in, Monday through or weekend through Thursday. And you'll rate it from a 1 to a 10. And obviously, if you score yourself a 10, you're going to have to explain why and share your success with us. And if you score something low, much lower than that, then you're going to have to fess up on why that happened too. And it's all good. We all learn a lot from that. So I think that's going to be a good experience for you all too. I mentioned the points program. You guys got a points checklist when you did your weigh-in. So basically, the more you participate, the higher your compliance level, the more points you can collect up. There's going to be a mini challenge presented to you every Sunday night for each week, each coming week. The first 1 week challenge is the first presented challenge is a challenge that lasts all 6 weeks, not just the first week, and that is to row. I'm glad you're all seated. 50,000 meters on the rower. And or Elizabeth, you would normally like this, but I don't know anymore. Run 40,000 meters, and you do get partial credit. So whatever percentage of those totals you participate in, you will get points for those. I think it's 5,000, a point per 5,000 rowing, and a point per 4,000 running, which means there's a total of 20 points up in the air for those two activities. Every other week, we'll be presenting at the beginning of the week what that week's challenge is, and they're not all like that. They're basically all the rest of them are just fun little short things, and it's not a massive amount of work. If anyone is opting to or is focused on trying to build muscle in lieu of lose weight, we've had that case in every Bod Squad so far. At least one person, if not more, really wanted to just gain muscle, then we can modify that and give you a weightlifting program to take the place of that. It would be something like the Wendler program that we have in the gym already. So that's that. The 6 week challenge will be the running and rowing, and then next week you'll get another challenge. Okay, so another thing we'll do in these Zoom calls is chat about the upcoming week of lessons, and I'll try to bring to your attention some material that is, let's say if something's coming along that has had a big impact on other people, then I'll bring that up to you and let you know. And there is actually one like that coming up on Wednesday. It's a video. I think it's I want to say it's 14 minutes or maybe 17, but I think it's 14 minutes long. This guy's name is, I can't find it. Where'd he go? James Clear, and he talks about forming habits, and he talks about having long range goals, but making little baby 1% improvements every day to try to reach those goals, and the massive impact that those little incremental things that you do every day piled up can have on reaching your goals. It's all about deciding what you want to do and then figuring out what you need to do to make that happen, and then getting reps. The more reps you get, just like in CrossFit, the more reps you get, the more ingrained that habit becomes, and the more natural it becomes to live that habit. So he's gonna, that is an example of a video that you guys gotta watch. You're gonna get a lot out of it, I think. Okay, so make that appointment on Wednesday. So I don't have anything else. Oh, one thing I wanted to say is there are a lot of different templates in this program, and you can use some people use all of them for various things. Most people will pick what sort of resonates best with them, and you guys are free to decide as you see through the different templates. You can decide what works best for you. I will say that we had some real big success with people doing food logs by photograph. So rather than trying to write a bunch of stuff down in the food log, take a picture of your plate of food. And if you're reaching your goals, that's fine. If something's happening weirdly, inflammation or not reaching goals or putting on weight instead of losing weight or whatever, then having those food logs enables us to have a very, very detailed conversation, and it helps me to see things. I'll give you an example. we had one case where it was in the very first Bod Squad. The individual was really not meeting her weight loss goals, and she was really puzzled by that. And I said, okay, let me look at your food logs. Do you have food logs? She said, yeah, I've been taking lots of pictures. They just dropped out, hopefully just temporarily. Anyway, we looked at the food logs together, and I realized I saw a plate of food that was a typical meal for her, and it was more than 50% fruit. So she was using fruit as her carbohydrate predominantly and getting too much fructose as a result. So when we made that change, when we made the change back to a better balance of lower glycemic index carbs, she was able to start seeing the benefit of that. So having the food log really helped out a lot. I don't know why they dropped off, but they may be struggling to get back on, which is fine. We're down to the last few minutes anyway. Do you have any observations so far, Elizabeth?
Like, if I'm teaching Thursday, like hopping on right at 7:30 might be a challenge
Yeah.
from getting home and stuff.
Yeah, I will say that I'm a pro at running that class and then getting home in time to actually run this Zoom call. So if you come on, I've got this thing set up so that you can come on. There's not a waiting room. You can come straight in. So
Okay.
whenever you join, you don't have to be given permission in. You can just come straight in.
Okay.
So yeah, if you could just feel free to leave the room less organized when you leave the gym. You know, that could be my gift to you. And
Okay.
and yeah, that'll be fine. That'll be fine.
All right. And I may be on, but I may not have the video on because I may be eating. So,
That's fine too. You know, again, if we see you eating, then we may have some comments about you know, there's lessons about how to eat. Oh, there's a nice piece of ass right there. That was really impressive. Okay. Anyway, one of the lessons is how to be more mindful about the eating process and chewing the food and all that, letting the enzymes, you know, do their job and just being in the moment and enjoying it more. And you know, probably from experience, the more you slow it down, the more satiated you get.
Yeah.
And you're not fooled into thinking you're still hungry when you're about to be really full.
Right.
So we can watch your behaviors while you're eating.
Okay.
Okay. Tim, you back on?
Yeah, we're back on. Sorry about that.
That's no problem. I think all you missed is Elizabeth was mentioning that when she's running classes on Thursday, she'll be popping in at the last possible minute and may have a mouthful of food while she's watching the Zoom call. But and I gave her permission to leave the gym a little bit less organized than normal. Usually I walk in the door after Elizabeth's hours the next morning and everything is exactly where it needs to be for the next workout. So that's always appreciated. Okay, so do you guys have any questions or any more observations before we close out?
Well, no, I don't think so. So the weekly goal is a 50,000 meter row or a 40,000 meter run.
That's the 6-week goal.
Okay.
So that you're given all 6 weeks to, and if you just think of it as, you know, you're going to warm up 500 meters on the rower. If you could make it 1,000, then that's 5,000 a week, and you're going to hit close to the target. So, or maybe 500 before the workout and just a cool down of 500 afterwards. It's almost unnoticeable if you just kind of space it out like that. And then we have rowing in the workouts. You can count every single meter rowed every time we do anything, and you'll get some points out of it.
Okay. And is it good to go over it, or, you know, I mean, should we
if you go over 50,000, you don't get extra credit. You're not going to go too much over because that's a lot. But if you go over, yeah, that's just it's more of a calorie deficit, and that's probably great. probably just fine.
Okay. That's all my questions.
Okay, great. We'll close it out now, and get to the game doesn't start till 7, right? So,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we have all kinds of time.
Okay, so I will actually root for your home team because
Okay, so-
I do not have a football team to root for.
For clarification, it's 50,000 for rowing and 40,000 for running?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Normally you'd be smacking your lips, but these are strange times.
Yeah, I ran 10 this morning, so
Oh my goodness. How do you feel?
I'm a little sore in my pelvis, but other than that, I'm okay.
Okay, well, I tell you what, I have noticed that if you can get some sort of cold treatment, like a cold shower, you may know this already. If you could do that kind of thing once a day, it really helps a
Yeah.
lot. And it's hard to do in the wintertime, but that helps a bunch.
Yeah, I need to get one of those ice barrels.
Oh, yeah. Okay, guys, thanks a lot. I'm looking forward to working with you. And if you have any questions, just you know where to find me.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay,
Have
see
a good
y'all.
night.
Bye.
Right.